Hello artists, welcome to your Ice Princess painting class featuring Miss Elsa. In front of you, you should have your canvas. You should also have black, white, the colors purple, red, your darker blue, your lighter blue, brown, and yellow. Also be sure to have a larger brush and a smaller brush, a paper towel, a cup of water, and a plate to mix on. If you do not have all those materials, you are welcome to pause the video and come back to it whenever you're ready. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're gonna do is we are gonna go ahead and wash and dry both of our brushes. So I'm just gonna swirl my two brushes in my cup of water, get them nice and clean for our painting class. And then I'm gonna tap it on my paper towel several times. My paper towel's dirty because I've used it, but you should have a nice clean paper towel. And I'll put them down. The first thing I want to do in my painting is I do want to paint all this background space. So all the space behind Elsa with a little bit of purple and a little bit of white on my big brush. So not small brush, but big brush. I'm going to just dip a little bit of purple and a little bit of white at the same time. Don't mix it in there. You just want to kind of grab a little bit off to the side. And just in case, I am going to go around Elsa's cape. On the left side, you see how I made that line around Elsa, like so. And then to the right above this cape, I'm going to use the purple and white, like so. So kind of over her shoulders and above this line right here. So whenever you're ready, you can make those two lines as well. I'm also going to use that same purple and white, and you can still have it on your brush or go back for a little bit of each. I go around her head with a little bit of purple, a little bit of white, just a little bit. And I'm going to keep going with my brush, that same big brush, all the way around Elsa, so I know where that purple and white stops. If you accidentally got some on her, not a problem. We are going to paint over it later. We go down to it's just kind of a bubble around Miss Elsa. Once you're done, you're going to go back for a little bit more purple, back for a little bit more white, and all the space above her, so not below this line, but above that line that you made, you're just going to paint in all types of fun brush strokes. Some left, some right. You'll even go over that line a little bit, but don't go past it because you don't want to paint on Elsa. I'm just going to get all directions. I'm going to go all directions with my big brush. So purple, white. Be sure not to mix your white with your purple. You are going to use it later. But it's going to be kind of fun just moving my brush around. And if you're having a hard time moving your paints around, you can add a little bit of water to your brush, tap it on the paper towel, and then go on top of your purple and white. That'll help move your paint around a little bit more. So don't paint on Elsa, you're just painting all that space behind her with purple and white with your big brush. So a little bit more purple, more white. It's really fun just kind of creating some movement with our brush, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, but staying in the background space. Purple and white. Like so. And again, if you wanted to use water, pat on your paper towel. I'm going to go over it a second time just to make sure I don't see any white from my canvas peeking through. So I am going over it a second time after it dries a little bit and doing the same thing on top of the first coat. So after it's not as shiny and it's a little bit more dry, you can go on top of it and maybe even cover your lines that we did at the beginning a little bit more so you don't see them. But be sure to stay out of Elsa's hair, stay out of Elsa's face area, her clothing. You know, just do the paints in the background. I do also want to paint the sides and the top, but not the bottom, the same purple. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of purple and white on my brush, and where it kind of looks like it's going to fold over around here. So let me see. So over here, it looks like it's going to fold over. Make a line, and I'll paint all that space above it. So a little bit of purple, a little bit of white. I'm going to paint the space above it. And then over here to the right, where it kind of looks like it's going to fold over onto the shoulder, I'll make a line. All right, sorry about that. And then the top part, a little bit of purple, a little bit of white. And get that area on top of the canvas as well. So all the background, including the sides and the top part where it kind of folds over. Like so. Oops. All that background space. And we're gonna just kind of give that some time to dry. I did accidentally get some purple right here in the corner. So before it dries, all I'm gonna do is wash and dry it. My paper, purple. With my paper towel so it comes off. So just like if you get paint on your clothing, you want to wash and dry it. Wash it off and dry it off with your paper towel before it really sticks on there. Once you're done with your purple background, again, the left, the right, and the top part, you are going to start working on Elsa's skin tone, and you'll see the skin tone on her face, on her neck area, and you're going to mix it on your plate. So be sure once you're done with your purple background, you've washed and dried your brushes really well. I even kind of give them a hug, wrap them around like so. And then you have your paper plate as well. And I'm going to use my big brush and get one really big scoop of white. So I'm going to get one really big scoop of white and a dot of brown. I didn't even clean my brush. I'm just going to put a dot of brown. I'm going to mix it to make a light skin tone. And if I feel like I want to go darker, I can get another dot of brown and go a little bit darker. If I want to go lighter, I want to add a scoop of white. So you can be sure you have a nice skin tone. So lighter, more white, darker, a dot of brown. A little bit of brown goes a long way with her skin tone. There we go. Wipe off. Oh, sorry. Wipe off my paper, my brush onto my paper towel because there's purple on it. Once I'm done with that, I am going to use my big brush. Be sure that it doesn't have big chunks of paint on it. Dip it into that skin tone, and I will start painting the neck area. You can even kind of outline it too, this area to the left, so you don't go into the dress. This is my big brush still. I'm gonna fill it in. If you feel like it looks too dark or too light on the canvas, there's still time to kind of mix some brown and white on here and go over it. And I'm gonna kind of go into the face area. I feel like I didn't make enough, so I'm gonna go in there and just grab another scoop of white, another dot of black. Excuse me, not black, but brown. Mix it, maybe kind of get it a little bit lighter. I am going to kind of go over the pencil lines of the eyebrows and the nose. If it smears a little bit with your brush, that's okay. Just kind of go over it and brush it out. But leave the eyes and the lips area kind of alone. Go around those areas. So I'm going to slowly start filling in this area and this area with the skin tone. If you want, you can add water, tap it on the paper towel, then go over the skin tone to kind of move it along a little bit better. Like so. All right. Let that kind of be for a while. So I did go over her eyebrows and I went over her nose area, but I went around her eyes and her lips. Again, if it got too dark, you can even let it dry for a little bit and mix a new white and brown to kind of get it a little bit closer to your skin tone, because I know a little bit of brown goes a long way. That's why we wanted to mix it on our plate before we went in there and made it official. Once we are done with that, we are going to go ahead and wash and dry our brush. If you use your small brush, go ahead and wash and dry your small brush as well. And if you're still working on the skin tone, you are welcome to keep working on it and move along to the next step whenever you're ready. Our next step is going to be our hair. We're going to add a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white to our brush. So I'm going to go in there with my big brush, yellow, and find a nice clean area of white. And I'm going to kind of go around the hair. If you have any wet purple areas, be very careful. You can find nice clean areas in your paint. All I'm doing is just slowly filling in the space with yellow and white. In the bangs kind of area, I'm just kind of going with the direction of this curve right here. So I'm just kind of going around it. You don't have to cover the pencil lines. We'll go over it a little bit. Yellow, white, and slowly fill in that space. So you want it to be a nice light yellow. You don't want it to be too dark. Once you're done, if you want to go a little bit lighter, add more white. If you want to go a little bit darker, add more white. I do think I'm going to add a little bit more white to the hair. Just a little bit lighter. Got a little bit too yellowish. Just kind of working my way down. Perfect. I'll let that dry for a bit. I'll wash and dry my brush. If you're still working on the yellow and white with the hair, you're welcome to continue. Once you're done with the yellow and white in the hair, wash and dry your brush. and then just go in there with white on your brush. So just go in there with white. So we got kind of like the color of our hair down, but I want you to go over the pencil lines that you still see with white and the hair area, so you kind of get rid of them. So I washed and dried my big brush, just going in there with the white and covering up any lines that I see with white. So I'm just going in there to white them out. If you can still see it a little bit, it's okay. We'll go in there with some black outlines, but you want to kind of find what you have left and cover them with some white paint. There you go. And then I'm going to wash and dry my big brush. All right, next we are going to go in there and fill in the lips. The lips are a super light pink, and just like the skin tone with the brown, the pink is going to be just a dot of red. So I am going to use my small brush for the small area. Be sure it's nice and clean. I'm going to get a nice scoop of clean white. Find a nice clean area on my plate, just a little bit, and a dot of pink on my little brush. Get a little bit lighter. So you want a nice baby pink, very light. Small brush, like so. So a nice light baby pink. Then I am going to outline. Actually, kind of go over the lips, the pencil line just a little bit too. Again, it's okay if it smears. Perfect. We are going to go over it with a light, we're going to do it with a light kind of black a little bit later as well. Once you're done, you can wash and dry your small brush. And we are going to go into our darker blue. So not your light blue, but your darker blue. And not this little circle, but the circle behind it, and I'll show you. So small brush, your darker blue. I'm going to go in there and start painting this area. So do your best not to get into the other circles. You can go over your pencil lines, this one, that one. More dark blue. Paint this other one right here. Like so. Perfect. All right, once you're done, you can wash and dry, and we'll let that blue dry for a little bit before we put any black close to it. We are going to jump to our big brush, and we're going to stick to that same dark blue. And this part of the dress, we will paint dark blue. If you're still working on the lips and the eyes, you're welcome to push pause on the video. But for our next step, we're going to paint the dress in the darker blue, this area. So I'm going to go in here and make this little curve right here. This part of the dress where it kind of dips down. And then there's this area right here. Be careful if the yellow paint is still wet. And then over here. So that whole area is going to be dark blue. So I outlined, and then I can go in there and fill it in. Go right there. Blue, and then I am going to curve it over, or the dress kind of curves over on the bottom on the left side, on the right side. Oh, sorry about that. So see how the dress looks like it's going to curve over on the bottom? Put a line to the left and to the right, and then I can paint between them. So it looks like the dress is actually folding over to the bottom of the canvas. So that whole section down there painted. And I would recommend painting the dress dark blue twice, which means that you paint it once, let it dry for a minute or two, and then just go right back over it. It's gonna look a little bit more solid, which means you won't be able to see the white poking through as much. Once I'm done, I'm not gonna even clean my big brush. I'm gonna use this dark blue, and over here on the left, right underneath the purple, I'm gonna do a sweep of this dark blue coming down. On the shoulder area, I'm gonna do a sweep coming down. Right here in this area in the middle, I'm gonna do a sweep coming down. And then over here on the line, I'm gonna do a sweep coming down. And then over here to the right, I'm gonna do a sweep coming down. One more little area right here, I'm gonna do a sweep going side to side. Be very careful. Once I was done with the little sweeps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm not gonna even clean my brush, and I'm gonna dip into that light blue. And I'm going to kind of go over this area just a little bit with the dark blue. They're gonna work together. And find those different sections. So light blue. Later on, if I've lost my pencil marks, it's okay. I'll go in there and find them. But if you wanted to get pretty close to them, almost covering them just a little bit, we'll find the arms later though. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water to my brush. Tap, tap, tap. And kind of go over that light blue area and the dark blue area. And that'll kind of help move my paint. So dark blue, light blue, add water. I'm just kind of going on this downward motion with all of them. Almost like a slide coming down. And the paint isn't on there too thin. You want to kind of keep the paint, isn't on there too thick. You want to keep the paint pretty thin. So if you can still see some of that white canvas poking through, that's not a problem. Don't forget too, this area, it kind of curves over to the left. So underneath the purple, and then underneath here, you have this white space too that's going to need some of that lighter blue. Beautiful. So I went from dark blue to light blue, adding water, filling up the space. If you want to, if you feel like it's too dark, you can always add a little bit of white. Just find a nice clean area of white and just add some sweeps of white in there. You can even add a little bit of water too if you want to help the white kind of blend in a little bit more. Beautiful. And then I'm going to go back to more of this light blue. And I'm going to kind of cover this space right here. If you want to use your small brush in this little tight space, you can. Go over my dark blue sweep before it really dries too much. Add water. Cover it a little bit. And if you wanted to add a little bit of white, find a nice clean area of white, you can white it out. So again, I'm going to add some light blue, water, and then white paint to lighten it up if you feel like it's too dark. All right, and then more light blue in this area. Don't paint on this dress right here. We're kind of working a little bit more out here. Just kind of working down. It's okay if it gets over the dark blue a little bit as well. Don't forget how it curves over to the bottom of the canvas as well. You can add water over your light blue, tap on a paper towel, Now get that light blue moving. So I did dark blue, light blue, water, add white. A lot of mini steps, huh? Clean these outside areas by just making nice smooth lines. So fun, just kind of working down like so. So cute, it's looking great. All right, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash and dry my big brush, and I'm gonna start making some cute like snowflakes and dots around Elsa and on Elsa's dress. We'll give Elsa's dress a little bit more time to dry before we put anything on here, but your purple and white should be nice and dry by now. What you're gonna do is you're gonna grab your small brush and a nice clean area of white in your paint, so small brush, white paint, and you're gonna do about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of snowflakey areas. And if you wanna do less, you can. Just remember, the harder you push on your small brush, the thicker the lines become, so you just wanna be on the tippy toes of your small brush. All I'm gonna do for my snowflake is I'm gonna make an X. And then I'm gonna make a cross shape. It's kind of long when you do that up and down, like so. I'm gonna find another area to find my snowflake, make another X right here. And then I'm gonna make a cross. This one's really long, but not too long. And then I'm gonna go side to side. There's 2. Make another one right here. There's an X. And then a cross shape. And then I'm going to make a cross right here. And then another one here on the side. So I'm going to make an X shape. Ooh, it grabs some of that red accidentally. I probably let it dry for a little bit and then I'll go over it with white again. So there's my X shape. There's my cross. That line right there is really long. So you can make your snowflake shapes. And in just a moment, I'll add some dots. Once you're done with those snowflakes, and you don't have to be, you can push pause on the video. You're gonna use the back of your small brush and dip it into a nice clean area of white. And you're gonna make 2 dots above and 2 dots below this long line right here. So the back of my small brush, I'm gonna push down on it like a stamp, just a little bit. You don't wanna push too hard, because the harder you push, the bigger your line becomes. You don't wanna get too crazy. So 1, 2, so lighten on the tippy toes of the back of your small brush. So it's only above this line and below that part of that same line. Boop. That one, you can only see the bottom part. And then this one. Boop, 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 boop. Like that. So some really cute dots to add a little bit something extra to the snowflakes, which I think is so cute. Also on the top part right here, the dark blue, you're going to add more dots by adding that to the back of your small brush, the back of your brush. And I'm going to push a little bit harder and a little bit less as I get closer to the middle. So I'm going to push a little bit harder on the back. Oh, that spot was wet. Let me grab some more. I just had a wet spot on the Elsa's dress, so I'm going to kind of avoid it for a moment. I'm going to push less and less, so the dots are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller as I'm kind of going in here. And they kind of are getting smaller, huh? like so. And you can add as many dots as you want. Kind of coming in. And then the same over here. It's a little bit of a smaller area, so you're not going to have as many dots. But on the outside, it's going to be my bigger dots. And then smaller and smaller and smaller as I'm coming down. So cute. Amazing. Looks great. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to give her some light brown eyebrows. So you should have a little bit of white on your brush, your small brush. If you don't, you can add a little bit of white and then a dot of brown. And then I'm just going to wipe off some of it on my brush, on my paper towel. So white and brown, I'm just going to go over one area and over two areas. And again, I'm just barely pushing on my brush. Great job. And I'm also going to use a little bit more brown and white on my brush, so just a little bit of each. I'm going to go in there and kind of outline the hair too with this light brown. So a little bit of brown, a little bit of white on my small brush, tap it on my paper towel maybe a couple times, and then I am going to outline the hair area. So I'm going to do a little sweep here, a little bit of sweep there, a little bit of sweep here, a little bit of sweep there. Oh, oh, so just like little sweeps, they don't have to be perfect. Brown and white, tap some off my towel. I'm going to go here, I'm going to go here, so just a little bit of brown. Kind of outlining around. If you put too much on there, you can always go back and kind of add more yellow and white. Like that. And to kind of show the braids, brown and white again, I'm going to start in this section and I'm going to come down to the left a little bit. Then underneath it, I'm going to come down to the left, and maybe underneath it, come a little further down, right there. That's kind of a little bit of the end of her hair, so you can just make one line right there. Oh, maybe even some lines right here, maybe some lines up here where her bangs kind of go up, maybe even a little bit on the side. Some really cute areas of brown lines to show off her braid a little bit more. If you feel like you got too much brown on there, you can always wipe it off on your paper towel. Add a little bit of water to my brush. I feel like my brown got dry. Tap it on my paper towel and over the brown lines to kind of help them work together a little bit more. Once I'm done, I'm going to wash and dry my small brush. And then I am going to add some black around the eyes and inside the eyes. So that little dot, just barely push in that first one and that second one. Once I'm done, I'm going to do the eyeliner. Go above the eye, come out a little bit. Above the eye, and just kind of barely push on that brush. You want to barely be on the tippy toes of that brush. Those two areas. Once I was done, I'm going to go barely be on the tippy toes. So don't push too hard. You want to keep it pretty light. And then on the nose, I'm not going to really go back for more black. I don't want too much black on my brush. I'm going to make that line. And there's kind of like a curvy line on the left side, curvy line on the outside. And then underneath this straight line, you have a little line going side to side like so. And then I'm going to outline the lips wherever I see the pencil lines. Barely pushing down. Perfect. And then I am going to kind of go around the face just a little bit of black. So a little bit here, over there, connect the two a little bit. I'm also going to go over here, connect this. Over here, so anywhere I kind of see pencil line for the outline of Elsa, I am going to kind of go over and do this. Pretty. Perfect, perfect. I'm going to go in there and add a little bit of black outline around her hair too to kind of help it work together a little bit better, kind of like how we were doing before on the outside. Even up here, you can add a little bit, just a little bit of black on my brush. And then maybe a little bit more black since I'm running out. Tap it on my paper towel so there's not too much. And I'll go in there and find the arm area. Here's her arm right there. Can even go around the dress right here. Can come up here above. Just kind of making those areas pop a little bit more. Every time I kind of switch colors. Here's our arm right here too. And go in there and just kind of add a little bit of black in there as well. You can go back if you want to touch up anything. If you got too much black anywhere, you can always let it dry. Go over it with white. Let the white dry. And then go over it with whatever color you would like. And get her just a little bit more thick right there. So cute. But there is your Ice Princess, Miss Elsa. I hope you had a great time painting her. That was so much fun. Thank you so much, artists, for joining us today. And take your time if you are still working on those line works. It's good to pause the video now so you can see where those darker areas are. But you are all set. Thank you so much and have a beautiful day.